welcome him with your hands.
Yes, thank you. Good afternoon. And I think with this talk, we're moving a little beyond the Copernicus galaxy. So this will be a bit different, primarily in terms of the development stage that we're at. So I'm talking about Destination Earth, which is a new initiative of the European Commission that is implemented by the three entities that we've been encountering throughout the day, besides ECWF, ESA, and EUMETSAT. So I start with a grand vision. The grand vision for Destination Earth is to build a digital twin of the planet, the Earth system, that allows us to understand and also simulate key processes to really better work with the system that we're living in a number of different cases. And throughout the day, we've seen a lot of examples of where this is already happening with data and simulations. But really, where we want to improve is on the interactivity, on the detail that we can model, and on the completeness of the processes that are being done. So this is rooted in two key strategies of the EU, the digital strategy and the Green Deal. So the Green Deal obviously is a sustainability strategy, which also is a very key driver for evolutions of the Copernicus services, the climate service amongst them, but not only. But the digital strategy is probably where Destination Earth is different. It also involves a different DG, the Director General of the Commission. And there are a number of sub-strategies that go underneath there. So the key thing here is really to build a system that will, in the long term, support policy making at EU level, also at member state level, with tools that are just becoming available, pushing the technology beyond where we stand today. It's structured, or the Commission has, as it has done in Copernicus also, entrusted three organizations to doing that, ECMWF, ESA, and EUMETSAT, who have complementary objectives. The role of ECMWF here is to build the digital twin engine, the sort of the operating system, if you like, to manage the digital twins and implement the two initial digital twins. I'll talk about those in a little bit more detail in a second. ESA is building a central service platform where all the users live, and that's the key access point to the system, and that will provide access to the twins and their data output and the interaction there, but also to the data lake, which is the bit that is organized and implemented by EUMETSAT in the broad context that EUMETSAT's also doing their other data holdings, of course. So the idea here was that the Commission pursued that we're using expertise available in Europe and integrated with the existing roles of these entities in a number of different programs, both those that are original to the three entities, but also in Copernicus and other EU programs. We've got a very ambitious timeline, started really last year, so this is very fresh. That's why I said we're at a different level of maturity. We've just started implementing, so the objective of phase one is to get a first operational system, operational not in the sense of the Copernicus operational, but in the sense of having a running system that you can actually demonstrate the initial value. This goes until the middle of 24. So we've had a formal kickoff in March this year. So we're starting to implementing this now, and then the aim is to have by mid-24 something that is running, the two initial twins, the service platform operational, the data lake operational, and then start growing it, adding additional functionalities, primarily additional user interactions to facilitate living up to the vision that I started out with. And then from 27, those of you who are working with the Commission more frequently realize that's the next multi-annual financial framework. So there will also be resources reallocated that will provide possibly more opportunities to grow this, then depending on where we stand and what the needs are to transfer this into a more continuous process. So overall, it's really a 10-year vision that we are just starting to work on. The reason why I'm here, I think, is that we're putting Destination Earth on a landscape that is not deserted. It is populated with a lot of initiatives throughout Europe, and Copernicus is a key player, of course, here, but not the only one. There's activities at the member state level. There's large scientific initiatives that are happening, and there is a lot of technology development and programs being developed that we have to fit into. So we're not, of course, duplicating that. We're not really competing with them. We're trying to use these and exploit these and support them in a way. So we're doing a lot of talking besides doing the implementation, and that's also my main reason for being here, is because this will then become, in this sense, important context for the evolution of Copernicus, and as I said, vice versa. So what is really different for Destination Earth? The idea is, one, to work on the Earth system models, improve them, higher resolution, but also to do this next step, link it to the, we call that impact sector models, so flood models, energy models, we've heard about that today, and really feed these models directly within, sort of do the models alongside, and in the vision really integrate them, to run them in a coupled fashion to improve the reliability and relevance to the output sectors. I mean, again, the Commission views this as a policy support tool. Policy is not done in the Earth system, but it's done in the impact sector side. So that's why this is such a crucial point. So we're investing into making that coupling easier, more interactive, and working with the users a lot. So the three things that will set Destination Earth apart is to work on the better simulations and more realistic models, so improving these Earth system models continuously. One key aspect of that is better resolution, higher resolution, moving beyond what's possible today, really exploiting the improvements in high-performance computing, the availability of these resources in a very substantial way. Then also work on integration with other models, and using their input and outputs, and work on the configurability and the interactivity. So we're not just running these models in isolation. Initially, that's where we'll start, but then very soon we intend to do this interactivity bit to really take the users along. The two initial digital twins will focus, the first one is on weather-induced and geophysical extremes. The geophysical bit is something that will happen later in phase 2, so not until the middle of 24. So right now, this first one is on meteorological extremes. Again, supporting warning and mitigation strategies. In a near real-time sense, so 2 to 5 days ahead at a kilometer, slightly sub-kilometer scale with global reach, and regionally or locally a little higher, so better than 1 kilometer. That resolves individual storm cells and is therefore highly relevant, including all the Earth system components, atmosphere, land surface, ice, and oceans. With all that, there will be a strong quality assessment framework, continued all the way to the impact sector models, and we're investing a lot on that, and uncertainty quantification. I think we've heard about that, how important that is during the morning already. Impact sector models, again, will be connected to that. The second one is on climate change adaptation. Here, well, not only understanding climate change, but really the impact it has on society in the different sectors, and help defining targeted strategies. We're doing that by doing multi-decadal timescales in the modeling with an improved resolution, in this case around 5 kilometers or slightly below for the land surfaces of land component, atmosphere component, and the oceans about half that. Again, including all 4 Earth system components and the robust quality insurance framework. There'll be a number of use cases demonstrators, and these domains, of course, are not new to any of you. We've seen these domains also in Copernicus being addressed. The idea really is to push the technology in those domains where Copernicus, because its focus is on the operational system, cannot move as quickly. The flip side of that medal, of course, is then that it will be a bit more experimental. But the initial low-hanging fruits are expected to be in the domain of renewable energy, both in the longer term in terms of the planning and investment decisions, but also in terms of the more operational side in the extremes case. But also, flooding forecasts, wildfire risk assessments and the like, depending on the model output. So we're working with partners and are looking to work with further partners where they are able and willing to help develop this model at a technical level before it becomes operational. I'll come to that operational bit in my last slide. So we've already contracted some of these use cases in the context of the contracts that we did for the initial twins. We are currently evaluating proposals, bids on further ones, and ESA is also contracting further use cases to cover a bouquet of different domains. Not all of them will be at the same level of sort of magnitude, but nevertheless there will be a few showcases to demonstrate how Destination Earth will be able to contribute. This is my last slide. So the question here, of course, is how do Copernicus and Destination Earth interact prospectively? Again, Destination Earth, we're really only starting. What helps is that at the heart of this, they're the same organization. So this really is a matter of internal coordination. Of course, we're not doing the same thing in the two programs. For Destination Earth, we will build a lot on the observations, on the experience, on the products, but also on the user exchanges that have been happening. There's a big volume of user requirements that continues to be collected through Copernicus. So we're learning from that to drive the evolution of where Destination Earth puts an emphasis. On the flip side, that the developments and the technology push emanating from Destination Earth will feed and inform evolution of Copernicus services, so that Copernicus can build on these accelerated developments and pick and choose. Not everything that's being tested and deployed in a Destination Earth framework will be relevant or feasible to finance in Copernicus. So there's obviously a selection that's going to happen, but it's building on this. Once things mature, take it into Copernicus and thereby improve the next generation system. So that's the vision of this cooperation. This will, of course, evolve. This will continue to be steered by you, by users, but also, of course, by the political context. This is all funded by the EU. But that's our vision today. And so I'm really looking forward to working with the colleagues internally, but also with the larger community on this. Thank you.